Coming up on the Tech Show, we're going to be talking about new Canyon shoes and new optics from Smith.
Longer lasting bearings and some newness from WTB. And, well, loads more.
Right, let's talk gravel.
Yes.
And basically, simple question. Is it kind of robbing tech from mountain biking? And is it a threat to mountain biking because it's getting so much attention, so much heat, that all of our hard-earned tech development over these years is just being thrown into some new discipline?
Well, I mean, it is the fastest growing kind of segment in cycling. It is kind of like the first port of call for lots of new cyclists. So, yeah, lots of brands, whether they be mountain bike, whether they be road, are putting loads of money in. I think we know Propane, one of our partners, they're known for their gravity-focused bikes, their long travel bikes, all full suspension. One of their best-selling models is their gravel bike.
Yeah.
So it shows that it's really kind of, it's not just sort of the roadie brands or cross-country brands, it's happening all over the place. We recently had like a UCI who've created a gravel world, which is slightly weird because it's sort of changed it from being this run what you brung, really broad sort of church to being quite a narrow church. And I guess that loops then to kind of like what development is there?
Yeah.
And I guess this is where it gets fun in terms of, yes, loads of brands are putting loads of big money in, and we should be scared because like SRAM has launched a new drivetrain just for gravel. It's 13 speed, it's kind of fun. You've got suspension brands, Fox, Cane Creek, RockShox, all developing suspension systems. And you know, putting lots of money in, and you're right, kind of to worry that is that a threat, because effectively it is. Like if you're making X amount of money and you kind of divert that funds to not mountain bike, that could be a problem for us long term.
And that's obviously a very efficient way to use your funds, because you've already spent funds previously developing a lot of this stuff in mountain biking.
And I think that's what's really fun, is that we don't really need to worry that much, because you're right, like okay, there's a lot of tech in a gravel fork, and I'm not taking away from the fancy valves, the special tuning, and all of the technology that's in there. But essentially, it's a 50mm fork where that's a long travel gravel fork, and we had a long travel gravel fork in the 90s.
Here's a question for you: Is gravel pioneering in anywhere, in any product or part?
So I went through after Gravel Worlds last week. GCN did a really good video, loads of tech in there. And it's really fun for a road event because there's loads of tyre chat, because there's no restrictions on width, and it's really fun. And that kind of drew me into this wild product called a Grava hub system, where on the fly, you can adjust your tyre pressure higher or lower as you ride along.
What?
So it doesn't use batteries, it uses the rotation of the wheel as it goes around to pump stuff, and then it's got like a little valve and connects on, and then a special release valve and a wireless controller.
So you can change the tyre pressure on the go?
As you go.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, no. I remember there was something in the kind of like early 90s, but it was like a really weird thing in mountain bike.
Yeah.
And it looked really odd. Whereas this, you wouldn't notice. And in the development, they kind of raced it at Roubaix. And I think Marianne Vos won Gravel Worlds this year using this system. It's spendy, but that is really cool. So Gravel has borrowed loads of our tech, the frame development, the suspension, the tyres, the tubelessness, but this is cool. Okay, it's a little bit expensive.
Yeah, I was just looking at the price here. You just said it's a bit spendy. It's €4,398.
That's for a whole wheel set. So because you've got a pump up front and a pump at the back. So you've got dual hubs for this.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money to change the tyre pressure on the fly. But hey, it's good to see that Gravel is pioneering in a technical product. That's
it is. Yeah. It also adds 800 grams.
Yeah.
So it's not light.
But in all honesty, all of the future development that the industry is going to spend on developing new products for gravel is essentially going to come from, would it be fair to say, rehashed mountain bike ideas? Am I pushing it too far?
I don't think you are, because I think if you go by kind of how mountain bike has gone as a kind of good development phase of like, okay, we've got suspension and then it's gone through the roof on suspension travel. Like we've got XC bikes now that have got 130mm, 120mm of travel, a lot. Yeah. So if you look at a gravel bike now, and some of them have got suspension forks, and as I mentioned, I think earlier, 50mm is dubbed long travel. Well, if you kind of like keep progressing that, quite quickly you kind of realise that a really good cross-country bike is essentially just a gravel bike.
Yeah, you
So we're
realise
ahead of the curve.
you just moved through down country in one sentence.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Shivers. I mean, that's my thoughts on gravel. That's your thoughts on gravel and how it is affecting mountain biking, for better or worse. But let us know in the comments what you think about it. Is it a force for good? Is it really good that we're getting more tech and we're able to change tyre pressure on the fly? Is that something you want on your mountain bike? Let us know. First up, we've got a new shoe from Canyon. It's called the Scamper. I think it's really good. It's a trail shoe. So we've had their new shoes before and they've been very much XC and sort of race orientated. This one is, well, all new and trail related. They've lent into really big players in terms of they've got Vibram, they've got custom soles from Solstar as well. And they've also got BOA.
Bit of BOA action.
Exactly. So it's the kind of jazzier Li2 one. So it clicks around to tension under sort of indexing and release under indexing, and you can do full release. Lots of sizes, full EU run from 36 to 48, pricing from $159.95 in both euros and pounds.
Yeah, very nice. We also got some new peepers called Seekers from Smith Optics. Yeah, these got chromo pop lenses, blend of hidden tech features in a lifestyle-inspired frame, Mego temple and nose pads that react to perspiration and non-slip grip, adjustable quick-fit temples, auto-lock hinges to hold the frames for easy one-handed removal of the glasses, and 6 colorways.
Yeah.
Brace yourself for the price, $175 to $225 US.
So it was eye-watering, but behind those lenses, you wouldn't get any of those issues. So
That's
great.
Good point.
7 Mesh, who we've featured here before, they've got a really good environmental practice in terms of how their products are made and what they try and put in them. They've got a new fall and winter collection. I guess the key standout is they've got a new material that they're using in quite a few different of their garments. And it's a WTV. I know, we love the acronyms. Yeah. This one, I've got to remember, is for wind thermal ventilation. So this is a 200 compared to their 300. So this one's a bit more cool, well, no, not cooler weather. It's a bit more breathable and less hardcore. So yeah, should be better. And the surface is different too, so it does different things. Lots of recycled content in there as well. Very nice. Spruce jacket, starting the range at £130, €150 or $160. Lots of nice stuff there. Now, Owen, let's talk bearings. Enduro Max solid bearings. I literally can't do this to you. Owen, tell me about the bearings. Okay, this is genuinely really exciting. And I'm not joking. So Enduro, one of the people who introduced Max bearings. So this is where instead of having a cage, you've just got loads of ball bearings and you've got like a really high fill rate of grease inside and really good sealing, and they do a huge range. They've gone next level with this one. So opposed to having grease in between the bearings, they've got this, well, effectively it's like a spongy, porous polymer. And that means it's impregnated with oil and grease. And effectively, it's like solid. So only the very edge of the bearings is in contact with either race. So they're effectively really, really well sealed. Right. And even if you get mud or crud in there, it's not going to really damage them because there's no gaps. It's so good that Enduro give it a 2-year warranty. I think that's amazing for bearings. Doesn't come cheap though. Prices from £38 and 7p. But again, 2-year warranty. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
They were actually very interesting bearings.
Oh, thanks.
You got me
yeah,
there. You got me there. New WTB tyre casing. This is the all-new SG1 carcass. WTB says it's tough as
Oh, I wonder what AF stood for.
That's what it stands for.
Ah, yeah, right.
60 TPI dual ply construction.
Burley.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah,
is that what that is? Yeah, tough puncture brake under the tread, 15mm apex sidewall insert above the bead, and there's a new 3-compound rubber too. Carcass is available in Trail Boss, Vigilante, Judge and Verdict tread patterns. Now we've got something slightly different. I think this is really exciting. I've squeezed it in here, so if you like this kind of stuff, please let us know in the comments. Fair Bicycle is a Swiss brand that make some really fun and weird items, but they're really useful. So this is their Drop Best AXS super light titanium and aluminium hardware. So it makes your reverb access dropper even lighter. But not only does it do that, it also gives you offset, so you can move the saddle rails further back or
further forward. They also do these offset kits for regular droppers or regular seat posts. And for me, as someone that's kind of got quite long legs and a bit of a short torso, I've always wanted to have a slightly steeper seat angle. And effectively, by being able to do offset, which we always used to have pre-dropper posts, you'd get layback seat posts or you get inline. We can do it with this. It's really clever stuff. So there's loads of options. It's Swiss, so it's not super cheap, but it is pretty clever. And
Dang, Swiss.
I know, but it saves you getting a whole new bike. So you could put it on a bike where maybe the head angle or the seat angle rather is overly slack and you want to make it steep, or vice versa. Like if it's a modern bike and it's too steep, one of these you can make it a bit more laid back. Interesting stuff. Let us know in the comments if you like that stuff or if it's just too nerdy and we can leave it alone.
Never too nerdy. And just a quick sidebar. Do you remember laid back seat posts on BMXs?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
they were crazy.
wild. Yeah.
Next up from Look, Chris Kyle and Thomas Yeonon's signature series Trail Rock Plus pedals.
Wow.
I've got to be honest, Look pedals and Chris Kyle, I don't associate the brands together, but
Not
here
yet.
we are.
There we
Here
go.
we are. Custom graphics, forged aluminium body, chromoly axle, dual sealed cartridge bearings, metal bushing and premium seal system. One size, 104 by 101 mil, 395 grams a pair. And we've got a price of 179.90 euros, which is 175 US dollars, 179.90 pounds.
Yeah.
We're paying a bit of a premium there in the UK, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, they're made in France. Explains it all.
Ah, there you go. See?
Here we go, spotted by GMBN's Toff from over on the Dirt Shed Show. Of course, Brandon Semenek just won Red Bull Rampage, and he's been riding not a Slash from Trek and not a Session, he's been riding the new Sesh.
Oh, I see what they've done there.
Combined
yeah,
the
done a
two,
bit of,
basically.
Portmanteau.
So, yeah, this is his new build. It's got some lovely details about it. Obviously works because he won Rampage.
Yeah, so it must be good. Yeah, no, really clean look to it.
Very minimal design. Yeah, it's very cool.
Other stuff, just to reinforce that we do read the comments, because there was a lot of chat about the electronics and people not necessarily fully going for them. We found this. We thought you might like it. So we've covered Vivio stuff or products before because Anna saw their products in Dresden. They've got a really cool shifter, which worked with Shimano and it worked with SRAM. Well, now they've got a made in the USA, fully rebuildable rear mech. Ooh. It's called the Enduro. It just looks awesome.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed by
neat.
that.
Yeah.
And again, comment related, because we do read the comments. They're really important to us. So please, if you like what we're doing, say. If you like to know more about what we're talking about, say. Talk to us in the comments.
Okay, quiz time.
Yep.
Last week's question. Which brand did Greg Minnaar win his first Elite Male Downhill World Cup on? I know. The answer was he was on an orange riding for Global. And it was in Capron in 2001.
I know.
My goodness.
It doesn't feel like that long ago, but
No.
that is quite a long time ago.
And we had very few right answers. I knew the answer to this. That's pretty good, actually.
Could have been in the
come on.
comments.
Who's the winner?
It's Tim.
Tim.
But you're right, but you're also kind of wrong. So you're right in the fact that he was his first World Cup was in a junior. I don't think he was a junior, and he names it as an orange 222, so it's all right. But then he goes, but for elites, it was a Harrow branded as an Intense M1.
Right.
Looking through the history books, I think, Tim, you're correct, it was an orange 222, but I don't think it was a junior because I think he was 18, and that's not juniors anymore. That's elite.
I see.
But yeah, he did win early as well. So
Great quizzing. Great
yeah,
quizzing.
no, I love it.
Loved it. Yeah.
I feel like I've gone wrong here, but we'll carry on in the fact that because there's lots of nerds out there and we're on a kind of like a sort of theme, and actually there's a clue related to you. So here's this week's question, and it is really tough, and it's two-parter, so there's prime points for both. Who was the bigger name racer on Global Racing, teammate to Greg?
I know the answer to that.
Okay, great. So there was like this just monumental racer who was actually the big name on the team. Greg was just sort of like a bit of a kid.
Yeah.
So that's first part. Second part, they didn't race an orange, unlike the rest of the programme, but what brand of bike did they ride instead? I know it's a challenge.
I know the first thing. I don't know the second bit.
Well, it's okay. You go in the comments. You can put 1 or 2 in there. I think I actually got Jonesy on this one. Stumped a little while. So yeah, let us know. True legend. It's excellent.
Top mods.
Yes.
Owen, look at this bike. Oh my God.
This is
Lovely
Mark.
YT.
This is amazing. Essentially, he's got a YT Choose downhill frame, but he's put a 12 speed on it. 19 kilos. What a wicked all-terrain monster truck.
Yeah, he says you love those workshops. You couldn't be happy with that, could you?
No, I mean, it's neater than mine at home. That's amazing. Good work. And then your next one.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
Pow.
Yeah, big pow. This
Pink and
is
silver,
Gene, and this is his Common Sal in Cheney, Wyoming. And yeah, he's polished that. He's really polished it. Love the
It's
custom
actually really
decals.
beautiful,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Pops. Love it.
Well done.
If you've got a top mod or anything you'd like to share with us, link is in the description below. So please send us your bikes. We want to see them.
Right, now into some comments, because you guys have been talking to us and we love that. First one from Jeff MTB in VA. I'm torn about all the tech in downhill. On one hand, this gives valuable testing for development, but on the other hand, I'd like to see them use a stock bike that anyone could buy. That is interesting, actually. Be the best rider, not just have an advantage. The comparison is made often between downhill and F1. If the big teams have all the budget for the tech, what happens to the smaller ones? Those are really great points. And do you know what? This next year in downhill, that is going to play out, isn't it? Yeah, very interesting comment.
Yeah. Toby Wonky Nobi. It's the end of an era. Greg is the GOAT. I'll say a GOAT because ACC and Rachel Atherton got close to him. But again, Greg is the male GOAT. Very good.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. And you're not bringing in the Nico Villiers into that little bracket there at all. Interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
valid. Feel a bit harsh now. Yeah.
Next up, we've got Shafiq Jan, 1474. I would love to try a front brake cover on my Öhlins fork, and I'm looking at the available mass dampers, and if F1 banned them, that means they work well. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So the old Specialized guys could be on at something there. I've been running sprung mass dampers on my 127 scale RC race car for about a year with excellent results.
I know.
Amazing. PS, I never change damping settings for climbs.
Sensible.
Just a statement.
EMTB, waiting on the Fox Neo. So this was in kind of conversation about last week's show where we were talking about all the tech from the World Cups, and Fox have got a new electronic rear shock called the Fox Neo. And he was saying, yeah, can't wait for it to become subscription-based, like sort of live valve. So, yeah, that might be awkward. But Öhlins could come in with more tech and let the algorithm just run free. So lots of excitement there.
Yeah, I love the talk about algorithms and updates. And
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. I love
Could
a
be
bit
really
of AI.
exciting. Yeah.
Uncle Bran Ron says, how much coffee to be this hyped about bike parts? Love the energy. A lot. Even more than me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, loves those bearings.
Yeah, but they're and Tim, Fox 40s in gold. Might not be that much tech, but must make you go 14.7% faster.
At least.
Yeah, I feel like we've got people in the room that could help us with that one. And let us know if it is 15% faster. Head nod of yes. Right, there we go. Super. Okay, finally, what are we looking forward to this week?
Or we've got some Magura brakes.
Yeah, we're going to do a brake lead on them.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Actually, that's quite interesting because I've literally got a problem with my Magura brakes at home.
Oh, well.
Yes, they just come into the bar. There's nothing there.
Oh, well, don't worry.
But no
we can
oil's
fix
come
it.
out. How's that possible? There's no oil come out, but the thing's coming in. If I do it for a little bit, it starts to work again. We can find all this stuff out on this video that's coming
Exactly.
up.
Perfect.
Yeah. And other great stuff too. Thank you for watching.